श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरण मोहन जू की जाय। नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शत शिशिमार भक्तिवेदांत नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शत शिशिमार भक्तिवेदांत वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जाय। नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शत शिशिमार भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्य प्रविष्ट महाभागवत श्री गोक्षर बाबाजी महाराज की जाय। नित्य प्रविष्ट श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जाय। नित्य प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जाय। श्री रूपानुग गौरिया गुरु वार्ग की जाय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ शार गोस्वामी प्रभु की जाय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जाय। नाम चाहे श्री रस ठाकुर की जाय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जाय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जाय। श्री राधा कुंज श्याम कुंज की जाय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जाय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्री रस पंचाध्याय की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जना शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त नारायणीति नामिने। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सर्वभूत हृदयमुनिमानतोऽस्मि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्णा पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनं हृदन्तस्तो ह्यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सतम्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। तवैवास्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय राधे त्वां नायमां चरणान्तिकम्। भक्त्या विहीन अपराधलक्षय क्षिप्ताष्टकामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वां शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम्। भज श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्तवृंद। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo, Raseshwari Mataji, Kargaraj Madhavi Didi, and Prajumna Prabhu, Mantramurti Mataji. Interesting, I didn't know Shiva Ramaswamy made a book, Pāraye. All right, so let's begin. Yeah, because yesterday we finished the 4th chapter of Ras Panchadhyay. It's chapter, 32, I think, of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the chapter ends with this verse, Na Pāraye ham. So I thought it'd be nice to read this from my Gurudev, explaining this verse. So, forever indebted. This was a class that my Gurudev gave on the commentaries of Ras. This is from a class on the commentaries of Ras Panchadhyay that was originally spoken in English. And he gave this July 8th and July 9th, 1993 at Shri Keshevji Gaudiya Math. One second, just seeing if this has to do with the reading. Okay. When Krishna left the rasa dance, the gopis sang Gopi Geet, their song of separation from him. When he reunited with them, he accepted their worship and consoled them by explaining why he had disappeared. That explanation culminates in this verse. Na Pāraye ham niravadya sangyujam swasadu krityam vibudhayushapiva yama bhajandur geha shrinkhala sangvrishchatarva pratya sadhuna. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:32-22. Let's go through the word for word since this is such an important verse. Na Pāraye. I am not. Na Pāraye aham. I am not able to. Niravadya. Niravadya means sacred. Sangyuja means meeting. So sadhu krita, your own saintly activity. Also sadhu krita means compensation. Vibudha means demigods, and Ayusha means a lifetime. Api, even. So even if I had the lifetime of a demigod. Va, to you. Ya, who. Ma, me. Abhajan, adoring service. Let's just see that beginning part. My darling gopis, your meeting with me is innocent and immaculate in every respect, because it is devoid of even a single iota of desire for your own happiness. What we just read is, even if I lived as long as the gods, I would be unable to requite. Is that how you say that word? Requite or requite? I think it's requite, right? I would be unable to requite even one drop of your love, sacrifice, and service. All of you may free me from my debt simply by your own gentle nature, but I am forever the debtor of your prem and will always continue to be. So now this word for word are going over is, although the bonds of affection for members of one's own family are impossible to overcome, you have completely demolished them. Thus, for the sake of loving service to me, you've transgressed more laws. Okay, sorry. I just like to know what I'm going through. Okay, so va, you, ya, who, for me, ma, abhajan, adoring service, durjara, difficult to overcome, geha, house, shinkala, shackles, samvrishta, totally broken, tat, va of you, sorry, tat that, va of you, pratayatu, be returned, sadhuna, by the excellence. All right, let's read that translation one more time because this is such an important verse. My darling gopis, your meeting me is innocent and immaculate in every respect, because it is devoid of even a single iota of desire for your own happiness. It is overflowing with supremely pure love. Although the bonds of affection for the members of one's own home are impossible to overcome, you have completely demolished them. Thus, for loving service to me, you have transgressed the moral laws of this world. Even if I lived as long as the gods, I would be unable to requite even one drop of your love, sacrifice, and service. All of you may free me from debt simply by your own gentle nature. But I am forever the debtor of your prem, and will always continue to be. Oh, my dear gopis, said Sri Krishna, my beloved Sakis, our love-laden meeting is Niravadya. It is so pure, so sacred, just like gold melted in fire. Is there any flaw in it? In this world, he continued, husbands and wives inevitably have self-interest in meeting one another. In fact, this is the case when any two people meet. Even the gurus and disciples of this world, if they are not highly advanced, have some self-interest in meeting with each other. The only person who may be selfless is he who is crossed beyond external nature, Maya. And yet, you and I have bodies, we have eyes, we have minds. And there's a footnote here. Shri Krishna puts forth their apparent physical existence as contradictory evidence that they have crossed beyond the external nature. Okay. The gopis do not want anything from Krishna. Everyone especially craves one thing. They crave prestige. Even if someone declares that he is in fact selfless or holy, he surely still hankers for this. We find that even brothers and sisters want something from each other. They want affection. But Krishna has explained that the gopis do not even want this from him. They want nothing but to serve him. Their mood is expressed in the final verse of Sri Shikshashtaka. Ashlishava pararatang pinashtumam adarshanan marma hatam korotuva yatha tatha va vidadhatulam pato mat prananatas tu sa evana para. That's Sri Shikshashtaka, verse 8. Let that debauchee Krishna tightly embrace this maidservant who is devoted to serving him, and thus delight me. Or let him trample me under his feet, or break my heart by not giving me his darshan. He may do whatever he desires. Even if he sports with his other beloveds directly in front of me, he is still the Lord of my life. In my heart, there is none other than him. Krishna extolled the gopis for their selflessness, but he did not claim to be selfless them. Bhagavan Shri Krishna is a supreme enjoyer. As such, his wishes may be self-centered or in the mood of a charming lover who wants to enjoy Ramana. And by the words ye yata mang prapadyante tangstataiva bhajamyaham, as they become devoted to me, surely I become similarly devoted to them. So, by these words, he has revealed that he indeed wants something from his devotees. Yet the gopis do not want anything from him. You have broken unbreakable bonds. He continued, our mutual meeting is sacred and infinitely pure. There is not even a trace of any flaw in it. Yama bhajam durjara geha shrinkala. The shackles that bind one to his home, geha shrinkala, are durjara, impossible to break free from. And yet, going against all the moral laws of this world, you have broken them and sacrificed everything for me. Then my Gurudev continues, each of us as sannyasis has left our wife and children. But if our wife were to come before us, we'd at once recall, she is my wife. The gopis, on the other hand, had so utterly renounced their homes that such ideas never came to them. Krishna told the gopis, I have nothing to give you in return for serving me like this. What to speak of my own lifetime? Even if I lived hundreds of thousands of times longer than the gods, I would be unable to return a single drop of such service. Only you, by your graciousness and liberal character, can set me free from that debt. And where's the footnote 2? I don't even see it. Huh. Anyways, it says this verse indicates that Sri Krishna wants his devotees to surrender to him. Anyways, whatever. Oh, is that this verse here, I guess? Huh. Okay. Anyways. Your saintly activity. Hare Krishna Mitra Vrindati. And Champak Didi, Hare Krishna. Your saintly activity. What the gopis have done, Krishna explained, is sadhu kritya. It's saintly activity. Although it is entirely irreligious for a lady to meet with any man other than her husband, Krishna has lauded the gopis with the words sadhu kritya for doing just this by meeting with him. Why? Because Shri Krishna is Paramapati. He is the supreme husband or master of all. Srila Jiva Goswami explains in his commentary on this verse that Krishna told the gopis that what they have done is asadharan sadhu kritya. The word asadharan, exceptional or unique, indicates that the saintly activities of the gopis are not possible for anyone else. Srila Jiva Goswami answers the question, what have the gopis done that is so exceptional? He answers this question by explaining that their actions were niravadya, or sacred and pure. We should understand the implications of the word niravadya in the following way. One with external vision may perceive a fault. One second, I'm just making this dark so it's easier in my eyes. One with external vision may perceive fault and irreligion in the gopis' tryst with Krishna. But Krishna says that the prem of both he and the gopis is so saintly, it's so sadhu, so immaculate, so nirmal, and so pure. He goes on to say, neither you nor I have any selfish desire, no kam. I only wanted to please you, and you wanted to please me. I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and you are my divine energy known as Ladini Shakti, the transcendental pleasure potency. Our meeting is niravadya, it is sacred and pure. Although our meeting is utterly devoid of selfish lust, it appears to be the same as lust. Therefore, the people of this world will perceive self-interest in your actions as well as mine. And they will conclude that it is only the motive and that it is the only motivation for our tryst. Then my Gurudev says, the people of this world cannot imagine that a tryst or any action can be free from self-interest. But liberated souls indeed act selflessly, and their sincere followers who can at least comprehend such actions also endeavor for selflessness. This gopi prem is the dharma of the gopis. In other words, it stems from their inherent nature, their swabhav. Just as fire naturally burns, the gopis love Krishna. They cannot but love Krishna, but they cannot but love him. Just like fire can only burn, fire can't cool. Same way, the gopis can only love Krishna. That's the only thing they have. I do not deserve your love. Krishna told the gopis, you are respectable wives, the newly married wives of respectable gopas. You are from an exalted dynasty, and yet, you have abandoned your social status. You have broken the unbreakable iron shackles that bound you to your homes and have easily crossed completely beyond the vast ocean of shame or the ocean of the disapproving words of your worshipful elders. You have abandoned everything, including all the moral laws of society, and keeping nothing for yourselves, you have offered your intense and affectionate love, your anurag, entirely to me. Why have you done this? Krishna asked the gopis. Why have you done this? Krishna asked the gopis. I do not deserve your anurag. Had my anurag been as exalted as yours, perhaps I would have deserved your love. But in truth, by virtue of your superior love, I am so much lower than you. And yet, out of your great generosity and graciousness, your sadhu krityam, you have offered your anurag to me. Even after innumerable lifetimes, I cannot requite my debt to you. If I ask you, as you have suggested, what I can give you in return, you will simply ask to serve me, and again I will be indebted to you. I have abandoned all hope that my debt may ever be absolved. But if you desire, you can release me from your debt by your own sweet will. I have not offered myself to you like you have offered yourselves to me. And therefore, I have broken my promise. Ye yata mam prapadante tang sataiva bhajamyaham. As they become devoted to me, surely I become similarly devoted to them. That's from Bhagavad Gita 4:11. One-pointed love. Srila Jiva Goswami next explains that Krishna told the gopis, while your love is dedicated to me alone, mine is divided among many. I have so many loving devotees, but you have only one love, me. Therefore, I can never serve you as you have served me. I am also shackled to my home by the affection of my father and mother. But unlike you, I have not broken these bonds, nor have I broken the chains of proper conduct, religion, or shame. I have not even abandoned my shyness and stealing away to meet with you while hiding from everyone's sight. I have not given up my self-interest at all, nor my shame, nor my mother and father, nor anything. We cannot repay Swami. What is Srila Jiva? Oh, and because then the next part, remember we read this. Um, what is Srila Jiva Goswami's mood? Srila Sridhar Swami has given us the sutra, and there's a footnote. Sutra, which literally means thread, is a concise sentence or aphorism that runs through and holds together a particular concept or that unfolds a complex conception into a single short passage. One second, I'm just seeing if these WhatsApp messages have anything to do with this reading. Don't think so. Let's skip it. Okay. We cannot repay Swami. So what is Srila Jiva Goswami's mood? Srila Sridhar Swami has given us the sutra containing this conception and has thus conferred upon us the immense treasure of Gopi Prem. He considers that now I am indebted to Swami, Srila Sridhar Swami, in the same way that Krishna is indebted to the gopis, and I cannot requite my debt to him. He should simply be satisfied by his own saintly acts. I offer my pranam to Srila Sridhar Swami's lotus feet. Okay. Now I continue. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It should be mentioned that when Sri Krishna reflected upon the selfless love of the gopis, he thought, I want to experience all this myself and truly realize it. Later, in his pastimes as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he fulfilled this desire. You have left everything, but I have left nothing. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary on this verse, Sri Krishna said to the gopis, "O my dear, O my Priya, one thing I want to tell is that I always remember you within my heart." For the purpose of stating this special truth, Krishna has spoken the words, "Na Pāraye hang niravadya sangyujam." Your meeting with me is niravadam. It is sacred. In it, there is no lust, no fruit of work, no religiosity, no consideration of the dictates of revealed scripture regarding right and wrong, and no consideration of what people in general claim to be right and wrong. Nothing. The prema of the gopis is causeless and completely innocent. They have left everything, so actions are irreproachable. Krishna continued, your saintly actions, your sadhu kritya, for my sake, are impossible for any other man or woman. You alone could have done this. Even if I were to endeavor throughout my life to return your service, I would be unable to, because you have utterly destroyed Geha Shrinkala, the very strong shackles of your homes, and have come to me. What to speak of your other relationships? You have severed the bonds of intense possessiveness for your husbands, fathers, fathers-in-law, brothers, and all those to whom you are affectionately bound. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur continues his explanation of Krishna's words. Yet, I have not left anything or anyone. I have lovingly come to you without abandoning my connection to my father, mother, brothers, and all my other relatives. But to come to me, you have cut off all affection and love for everyone but me. I have failed to keep my promise. Ye yata mang prapadante tangs tataiva bhajamyaham. As they become devoted to me, surely I similarly become devoted to them. It's from Bhagavad Gita 4:11. I have failed to keep that promise because I cannot return the devotion you have given me. So what good are my words or promises? In fact, there's nothing I can give you in return for your service. The requital, or requital, I don't know how to say it. You should understand that, in truth, Krishna cannot return the gopis' service. Still, on behalf of the gopis, I think the gopis considered that Krishna had requited his debt to them by admitting this. Although he remains forever indebted to them, they thought, by speaking these words, not only has he been relieved of his debt, but we have now become indebted to him. It was for these words alone. It was for these words alone that they kept their lives after Krishna left Vrindavan to go to Mathura and Dwarka. Krishna's unmatched love. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has expressed the essence of all of this. I know that you are all very gracious. If you consider me to be in your debt, then I must be. Only if you consider me to be relieved of my debt will I be relieved of it. But even then, in truth, I am always indebted to you. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that upon hearing this, each of the gopis began to reflect within her heart. Krishna is himself the personality of Godhead. His nature is overflowing with all auspicious qualities, and he is utterly devoid of any fault. Because he is factually the knower of ras, He truly appreciates and honors us. This is his highest eminence. Yet he tries to intimate to us that he is quite the opposite of great, that he is quite the opposite of great, by telling us that he is lowly and that we are exalted. He admits his faults and says, "I have failed to keep my promise. I am now indebted to you." Krishna is so glorious for speaking these words of confession. We thought that he had left us, but now we see that not. We wanted to defeat Krishna, and certainly, now that he has confessed his faults, it seems we have won. But in truth, Krishna has defeated us. We are glorious, but Krishna is even more glorious. We are unable to confess any of this, but he has confessed everything. Therefore, we have been defeated by Krishna's unmatched love. Becoming very jovial, Krishna brought all the gopis together and reinitiated the rasa dance. We can pray to Srimati Radhika. In the matters of prem, the gopis are glorious, and Krishna is even more glorious. However, Srimati Radhika and some other special gopis are still more glorious than Krishna. All glories to the prem of the gopis. We can pray to Krishna. We can pray to all of the gopis, and especially we can pray to Srimati Radhika that somehow a very small drop of greed to realize all of this may come in our hearts, and we may gradually progress. This is the effect of reading and explaining and hearing these topics. Jai Shri Sarva Vraja Devi Gan ki Jai, Shri Krishna Chandra ki Jai, Raseshwari Shri Vishabhanandini Shrimati Radha Thakurani ki Jai, Srila Jiva Goswami Pad ki Jai, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ki Jai, Srila Sridhar Swami ki Jai, Srila Gurudev ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo, Sachinanda Hari ki Jai. All right, so it's now only 8:07. So maybe we should read a little. We should start the 33rd chapter, 5th chapter, last chapter, Rasa Panchadhyaya. Yes, I am Champak Didi. I'm been getting enough sleep. Totally. Thanks for asking though. Okay, so let's open this up now. Oops. One second. Yesterday I copied the last chapter to see how many words it was. I thought it would be really cool if we Rasa Panchadhyaya on the last day of Kārtika, but we won't. We'll go like 4 days past Kārtika probably. I don't know. There's 29,000 words in the last chapter. Which chapter is this? Chapter 4. Yeah, there's 29,000 words. Read about 5,000 words a day. So it'll probably take us like a week to get past this. Okay. Chapter 5. Shri Krishna performs grand rasa dance with the gopis. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:33. Shri Shukla Uvacha Itang Bhagavato Gopya Shrutva Vacha Supeshala Jahur Viraha Jang Tapam Tarango Pachita Shishaha. Shukadev Goswami said, O king, hearing Bhagavan Shri Krishna's sweet words relieved the gopis of the last remnants of their distress of separation. All their desires were fulfilled when they received the touch of the limbs of their dear most beloved, the abode of utmost beauty and sweetness. Bhav Anup's elaborated translations. Srila Sridhar Swami Pad's Bhavartha Dika. Afterwards, Sri Hari enjoyed playing in the water and roaming in the forest with all his beloved gopis. This is described in the 33rd chapter. Shri Shukadeva Goswami said, O king, the Vraj Devis felt fulfilled in every respect when they touched Bhagavan's transcendental limbs. Srila Jiva Goswami Pad Vaishnav Toshani. The supremely enchanting Ras Lila shines forth with great splendor in this world. This pastime brilliantly proclaims the sweetness of the cowherd damsels in comparison to Sri Lakshmi Devi. Sri Krishna's irresistible love-filled words relieves the cowherd damsels of the heat of separation they had been suffering in the past and might suffer in the near future. The words, I am eternally indebted to you, cleared the pain of separation of the past. And Sri Krishna, I never leave you. I am always with you, even at the time of separation. These words completely eradicated the apprehension that, due to some stroke of fate, there might again be separation in the future. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:32-9, so the previous chapter, verse 9, has already mentioned this. At that time, the fear that Krishna might leave them again was deeply seated in their hearts. But now the gopis' anguish of separation dissipated. Tar ango pachisha. If we accept the additive gopya, the meaning is that all the gopis' desire are fulfilled by touching Sri Krishna's transcendental and embracing his limbs. If we use the additive Bhagavata, the meaning will be that Sri Krishna fulfilled all his desires by embracing the gopis and holding their hands. Supeshala, most charming. The gopis' distress was relieved by hearing their lovers' sweet words. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Sarartha Darshini. This 33rd chapter describes Sri Krishna's ras dance, his walks through and his water sports, as well as Shukadeva Goswami's answer to Maharaj Parikshit's question. When the gopis heard Sri Krishna's most charming love-filled words, and they received the touch of his limbs, tar ango pachita shisha, their amorous desires were fulfilled. In this way, the anguish they had been suffering in separation was dissipated. If the additive Bhagavata is used, the meaning is that Bhagavan Sri Krishna also derived great pleasure from touching the limbs of the Vraj Devis, who are full of Mahabhav. Consequently, he broadcasts the indisputable superiority of their prem to all. The man of the gopis described in the end of the previous chapter was pacified at the close of the exchange of questions and answers between Krishna and the cowherd maidens. After that, they commenced their amorous play by kissing and embracing each other. Tatrara bhata govindo rasa kridam anuvratai stri ratnar anvita prityar anyonya baddha bahubhi. Once again, just seeing everything's okay. Cool. Those jewels of women, the gopis, whose hearts were fully focused on their beloved, linked their arms together and encircled Govinda, who joyfully inaugurated the playful ras dance on the enchanting bank of the Yamuna. Srila Sridhar Swamipad's Bhavartha Dipika. Rasa Krida is the special dance performed by several female dancers. The beautiful Vraj maidens linked their arms together and started the playful ras dance with Govinda. Jiva Goswamipad's Vaishnav Toshani. Sri Krishna and the Vraj damsels at last reached an agreement. Krishna had wanted to sing and dance with his treasured beloveds from the very start, and now he commenced the great Ras Lila festival. Govinda, the eternal ruler of Gokul, who possesses unlimited opulence, beauty, and sweetness, manifested his position as the supreme jewel among men. The phrase Stri Ratna expresses the super excellence of the Vraj Devis compared to all other ladies, and the word Ratna, jewel, establishes their superior position among the kinsmen and all among their kinsmen and all other groups. The supreme male with the most excellent women were the perfect ingredients needed to start the Ras Lila. Overwhelmed in their love for Sri Krishna, the gopis were fully and completely under his control, Anuvrata. So they joined their arms together and started the Ras dance. The deep meaning of Abhadda, linked together, is that Sri Krishna remained locked in their circle and could not escape. The word Bahu means the arms of the gopis. Krishna's arms were draped around the necks of the gopis, and the gopis' arms were linked together. Ras Lila necessarily involves dancing in a circle, because its specific character is that the male dancer holds the necks of the female dancers, who link arms with one another and arrange themselves in a circle. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Sarartha Darshini. Ras is created by the combination of the pleasurable activities of dancing, singing, kissing, embracing, etc. All these ingredients are present in abundance in the play-filled Ras Lila. Anuvrataha. The gopis were favorably disposed to Sri Krishna, being overwhelmed in their love for him. They joined their arms together, and Sri Krishna started the circular dance with those jewels of women. Rasotsava sampravrito gopi mandala mandita yogeshwarena krishnena tasam madhye dvayor dvayo pravishtena grihitana kante svanikatam striya yang manyeram nabhastavar vimana shatashankulam divokasam sadaranam otsukya pahritatmanam. I think I'll end with this verse. Sri Krishna's divine Ras Lila festival commenced with thousands and thousands of gopis forming a circle around him. Bhagavan Sri Krishna, the master of mystic yogis, expanded himself and stood between every two gopis and embraced their necks with his arms. Each maiden felt that her beloved was standing next to her alone. The demigods were overcome with excitement to witness this festival and hurried there with their wives and their celestial airplanes, which soon filled up the sky. Srila Sridhar Swamipad's Bhavarta Dipika. The Ras festival started nicely with Yogeshwar Shri Krishna and the gopis dancing and expressing their sentiments through gestures. This is sorry guys, my throat's. This is the subject matter of this verse, comprised of 5 lines and 4 extra words. Shri Krishna appeared between every two gopis and embraced each and every one of them around the neck. Each gopi thought, Krishna is next to me and embracing me only. One might wonder how one Krishna could be next to each gopi, and how each gopi thought that he was with her and no one else. The answer is that nothing is impossible for him, because he is the master of all mystics and is endowed with inconceivable potencies. When Sri Krishna began the Ras dance, the demigods came there in great eagerness with their wives, and their hundreds and hundreds of celestial airplanes covered the sky. Just want to see how much is left in this. Okay, so we'll end with this section. Ras is the assemblage of supreme ras. So ras is an assemblage of supreme ras, divine mellows. This is the accepted meaning. The Ras festival is the occasion of special activities filled with happy emotions. Such activities include dancing in a circle. The life and soul of Ras brings together and spreads mellows and groups and group dancing, and this creates the pleasure of a multitude of passions. Ras Kadamba Mai. Just dancing in a circle with various movements cannot be termed as ras. The word Krishnena means that Sri Krishna is the center point in this supremely delightful festival, because he is the condensed form of all kinds of blissful mellows. Sampravrito Gopi Mandala Mandita. The gopis all came together in a circle, bestowing beauty to this unprecedented ras pastime. This combination was the perfect arrangement for ras to begin. Sri Parashar Muni has given a special description of the manner of dancing. The Ras Mandal has been created with all the Ras Mandal has been created with all the gopis together in one place, and Sri Krishna at the side of each and every gopi. Bhagavan Sri Krishna is holding every gopi's hand, and their eyes are half closed in the ecstasy of his touch. The Ras dance started with the tinkling of their moving bangles and the singing of autumn rags resounding throughout the whole area. In the present verse, Sri Shukadev Goswami said, Tasam madhe dvayor dvayo. Krishna was standing between every two gopis. If he had said dvayor only once, it would have meant that Krishna was standing between two gopis. But he repeated the word dvayor, indicating that he was standing between each pair of gopis. Later on, verse 6 states, Madhe maninam haimanam maha marakato yata. He was dazzling like a sapphire amidst gold beads. Madhya means amidst. Krishna was situated between every two gopis, embracing their necks with both his arms. The gopis were on the two sides of Krishna, and he was also on both sides of them. Shri Bilva Mangal confirms this. Anganam antara madhavo madhavam chantarenangana chantaren chantarenagana itam akalpite mandale madhyagha sangho venuna devaki nandana. The formation of the Ras Mandal was such that there was one Krishna between every two gopis, and one gopi between every two Krishnas. He was also in the center of the circle playing his flute. Dipika, a handbook on the process of worship, prescribes the worship of a couple, not three persons, and states, Sri Krishna was situated between each pair of doe-eyed gopis. One second, I just need to... Give me 1 second. I'm back. Studia. Ladies, a noble person reciprocates equally with all his impassioned lady loves. Otherwise, pleasure will be lost due to the fault of partiality. Swa nikatam manyeran. Each gopi was thinking, Krishna is next to me and embracing only me. Each gopi was directly able to see him next to her. Shri Krishna inaugurated the play-filled Ras Leela to share happiness with the gopis. Therefore, to ensure that each one would relish the full splendor of this Ras festival, he placed himself next to every gopi, because all of them were equally deserving to taste this joy. Each cowherd maiden was thinking, Manyeran. Krishna is present in Krishna is present in many places at once due to his unparalleled skill at dancing. But I have embraced him directly. Otherwise, Shri Shukadev would have said, Pashyan. Each one saw, Pashyan, Shri Krishna next to her. The cowherd maidens were overwhelmed with delight, thinking, Krishna is next to me. Due only to their bliss as they relished this unique pleasure, they were so bewildered that they could not understand that he was present on both sides of them. How astonishing it is that Krishna, although one, still entered in between each pair of gopis. He could do this because, as Yogeshwar, Shri Krishna is the Lord and Master of Yogamaya. His very special and inconceivable inherent potency that enables him to manifest in all these forms by his own desire without any external inspiration. The demigods ordinarily roam around in the sky, but when they suddenly saw the Ras Lila begin, they gathered together to witness this spectacle, and their celestial airplanes filled up the whole sky, Nabha. The question might arise: the sky was covered with their aircrafts, so was the moon. So was the moon. So was the moon also covered, making the area dark? The answer is that the moon still illuminated the whole area because the demigods' aircrafts were above the moon, not in front of it. It is said that Brahma, Rudra, and other demigods came with great eagerness to witness the Ras festival. This means that this kind of festival is not celebrated in Swarga or on any other planet. The demigods were avid to watch Bhagavan dancing. However, since they were in Dasyaras, in servitorship, they were not qualified to witness the full Raslila and could not see the more confidential amorous activities. Therefore, Yogamaya covered their sight so that they could only see him dancing. She did not allow them to witness the more intimate exchanges. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Sarartha Darshini. Shri Krishna's Ras festival with the gopis gives nectarian pleasure to the eyes and hearts of the devotees, who are like chatak birds. This is described here in a long verse comprised of 2.5 verses of short 2.5 verses, short of 6 words. Yeah, this is the first time in all of our Bhagavatam readings that I've seen one verse that has 6 lines. Shri Krishna entered between each and every pair of gopis as they stood in a circle and initiated the festive dance with full vigor. We should not think, however, that he was the active agent who inaugurated the Ras. Rather, Ras Lila itself was the officiating agent, having been invested with independent power by Shri Krishna to set this pastime in motion. Wow. The Ras pastime herself performs the whole management, and Shri Krishna became one instrument in this festival. He himself, along with all his energies and all his other pastimes, are subservient to this all-powerful Leela, whose supreme glories have been broadcast throughout the universe. For this reason, Lakshmi was very eager to join this festival, but she was not successful. How could Sri Krishna enter between every pair of gopis and embrace them with his arms? This is reconciled in verse 6 of this chapter. Madhye maninam haimanam mahamarakato yata. He was like a dazzling sapphire in the midst of gold beads. Madhye means middle, and marakata, sapphire, is singular. Furthermore, the present verse states, Tasam madhye dvayor dvayo. He entered pravishtena between each pair of gopis. It does not say that he was present between each pair. Thus, it is understood that Sri Krishna was present in the center, like the whorl of a lotus. He danced with such speed that he could instantaneously enter between every 2 gopis, and then return to his place in the center. He was moving around in the circle, embracing 300 million gopis, and yet at the same time, he was present in the center. This clearly denotes that he was moving with speed even faster than a firebrand. All the gopis witnessed him simultaneously in the center of the world and with each gopi in the surrounding circles. Bilvamangal Thakur describes this. Anganam anganam antaramadavo madava madavam chantare chantare nangana. Itam akalpite mandale madhyaga sango venuna devaki nandana. In the Ras Mandal, there was one Madhav between every two gopis, and one gopi between every two Madhavs. And Devaki Nandan is also in the center of the circle playing his flute. Shri Krishna could accomplish such an astonishing feat because he is Yogeshwar. He is expert in all the arts, and in this pastime, he has displayed his supreme dexterity. Alternatively, he is Yogeshwar. Oh, sorry. Alternatively, he is Yogeshwar, the supreme master of the great power Yogamaya, who can accomplish the impossible. Shri Krishna understood that all the gopis cherished the desire for him to embrace them, and he also was eager to embrace them. Therefore, Yogamaya presented the solution by manifesting one Krishna for every gopi. Tasam madhye dvayo pravishtena. There are two ways to interpret this phrase. 1. Two separate Krishnas were on each side of every gopi, touching her with their arms. But there is no impropriety here, as Yogamaya arranged that each gopi was feeling the presence of only one Krishna. So that's one way to interpret the phrase. And the second way is Krishna entered between every two gopis. This is not difficult to reconcile. Each Vrajamaiden was feeling that Krishna was right next to her and thought, Krishna is very close to me and is embracing only me. It may be so. It is because of Krishna's phenomenal dancing skill that he was seen next to each gopi. And yet, at the same time, he was also in the middle of the Ras dance. There, as Devaki Nandan Shri Krishna, he was embracing Vrindavaneshwari Shri Radha, who, as confirmed in the Radha Shatanam Stotra, is the supermost gopi and the sole reason for the Ras Leela. She is the sole reason for the Ras Leela. Brahma and the other demigods were eager to watch Krishna's dance performance, and they came with their wives in their airplanes, which soon filled up the sky. However, as the demigods are in the mood of servitorship, they were not qualified to witness his confidential activities with the gopis, so Yogamaya covered the gopis from their sight. Their wives, on the other hand, were qualified, so they could see both the dancing of Krishna's intimate activities. They could see both the dancing and Krishna's intimate activities with the gopis. All right, so from tomorrow, we will read from verse 4. Also, is tomorrow? Yeah, I think tomorrow is also the disappearance day of Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Puri Gosvāmī Mahārāja. So we'll have to read something about Śrīla Puri Gosvāmī Mahārāja as well. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai, Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatara Shata Shishimar Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Gurudev ki jai, Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatara Shata Shishimar Bhaktivedānta Vaman Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai, Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatara Shata Shishimar Bhaktivedānta Swāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Nitya Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj ki jai, Nitya Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki jai, Nitya Lila Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Śrīla Gokṣaras Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupa Anuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jeev Gopala Bhatta Dasha Gunath, Shar Gosai Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari, Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. नाम आचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जाए. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाए. श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जाए. सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जाए. श्री राधा कुंद श्याम कुंद यमुना गंगा तुलसी भक्ति देवी की जाए. श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जाए. अनंत कोटि श्री ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जाय. श्री रास पंचोध्यायी की जाय. श्रील श्रीधर स्वामी पाद की जाय. श्रील जीव गोस्वामी पाद की जाय. श्रील विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जाय. सर्वव्रज देवी गण की जाय. श्री कृष्ण श्री रासेश्वर श्री कृष्ण चंद्र की जाय. श्री रासेश्वरी श्री विश्वभानु नंदिनी श्रीमती राधा ठाकुरानी की जाय. श्री कार्तिक व्रत नियम सेवा की जाय. ऊर्ज व्रत की जाय. श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जाय. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जाय. श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवाय च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रददेवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः. वंशा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me, and see you all tomorrow to read. Well, actually, I'm probably going to go live this evening to go over Govardhan Vaspartana Dashakam. And then tomorrow I will go live to read about Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj and about this last, I'll read from this last chapter. Yeah. All right. Haribol, everybody.